On the Nigeria MPC left the MPR at 12%. The general cash reserve ratio rates unchanged at 12%. CRR on public sector funds also left at 50%. Now, for more on the market, how the market might take in that news and general market sentiment going forward, I am joined by Kayode Akindele. He's a partner at 46 Parallels. Kayode, it's great to have you on the show. Now, as I said there, we saw MPR retained at 12%. So I think it'd be good to start with getting your thoughts on MPC's decision, especially in light of AMCON bonds, which are going to be maturing at the end of the year, and all the liquidity that's going to be coming into the system.
Yeah, I think the MPC is looking first at AMCON bonds, because there's a significant amount of AMCON bonds that are going to be maturing starting in December all the way through into 2014. And also looking into elections in 2015, they see inflationary pressure in 2014 on the base of that. So I think MPC took a forward-looking stance on that.
Okay, now we also saw the inflation rate, of course, come down to 7.8%. Now, what does all this mean for the equity space? I mean, I assume that the consumer space could be affected?
I mean, the biggest, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, the biggest influence on inflation going downward trend is really food prices. The agriculture sector has really picked up, especially in production, and that has caused decreased inflationary pressure. Now, in terms of the consumer space, I don't think there will be that much of an effect. In essence, a lot of the companies are still price givers, and so they'll still be able to set prices for customers.
Now, Sanusi is going to be stepping down in about 6 months' time. Do you think that he will still continue to have influence on the MPC? Do you think he can exert this, that same amount of influence on decisions going forward between now and then?
It depends on the federal government stance. If they appoint or there's an indication who his successor is going to be, especially if the successor is internal, then there might be a shift before that changeover date in influence internally, because naturally people will start moving towards the successor if that's known. Otherwise, I think he will still have a strong influence. He had a strong influence in selecting the MPC committee, so he knows quite a lot of the members there. So unless there's indications early about who his successor is going to be, and especially if it's internal, I think he'll be quite strong still in the CBN.
Now, a lot has happened in the banking sector this year. We've, of course, seen that sector down 0.5% yesterday, bringing the year-to-date performance to 17.6%. Now, how should investors position themselves in that sector going forward?
The banking sector's had mixed results this year. First half of the year was pretty good. They recovered from their bad debt position. Then they started posting good profits. Then the CRR decision basically threw a lot of the banks off. And there have been some rumblings in the sector. There have been issues with some of the discount houses that have caused issues in the sector. And so I think investor sentiment is mixed. Moving to 2014, the banks are playing a big role in the power sector and also in the oil and gas sector, and that's expected to continue. So that should bring some profits. But people see the normal trade that a lot of banks do, which is take public sector deposits cheaply and then borrow to the government. The CRR decision has curtailed that. So everyone wants to see what the banks do in that regard.
Now let's talk about Transcorp. We saw that stock continue its rally yesterday. It's now gone up 320% this year. And interesting to note that just over a week ago, it's gone up over 100% since then. I mean, it was trading at £1.97 just literally 2 weeks ago, and now we're at £4.41. Do you think we can start to see profit-taking set in anytime soon?
There will be some profit taking, but I think the Transcorp story is really on the back of their AGM, where it was announced that they will start oil production from their field in 2014, and also the successful acquisition of a power sector asset, as well as the agreement with the Hilton International to open new hotels around Nigeria. So I think there's been positive sentiment in terms of Transcorp in that regard, and everyone sees a revenue uplift. Now, I think for investors looking at it, now they're moving to 2014, where they want to see the revenues from the power sector, from the power plants coming in on stream, see if they start building the hotels that they said they're going to build. And I think it still has of course, coming from a very low base, to be honest, £1.92. I think there's still some upward trend in that.
Now, still on companies that have taken over power plants for Forte Oil, of course, after the rally we saw in that trade, in that stock, we've now seen that stock closing flat in the past 5 sessions. So what's going on there?
It was quite a meteoric rise. So I think what it's saying is investors are taking a step back and looking at it. But I think the news, in the last couple of days from the Ministry of Finance, that they've paid some fuel subsidy arrears as well as interest for late payments to oil marketers, and Forte Oil is one of the big oil marketers. I think that should give another fill-up for maybe potential price increase going forward.
Let's leave it there. Thanks for sharing your view with us.